Happy to have you all here. Happy to have you on stage. Looking forward for the next 30 minutes, having some ideas and thoughts and view to new concepts, new ideas within luxury, fashion, lifestyle. Even starting this point is, I think and we mentioned it, I think today several times, the journey of the customer has changed really dramatically, even for the stores. Even the square meters are reducing, but the digital elements are really getting up. And based on this issue, what do you think about, and Tilman, you with Danpearlman had some ideas to the 10 rules of retail. What are your thoughts about the main changes, and what are the main points really which customers and also the industry has to face on?
That's a lot to deal with. I think there's a huge connection, of course, always between online, offline experiences. What's the best way to integrate customer data, customer experience really from like the online experience to the offline world and the other way around, and then also in the process of after sales delivery, customer care, etc. The connection really of to build up a meaningful connection between all those points. This has been a subject for many years, but I still think we're not at the end of the journey yet. There needs to be a lot of invention on this, so that all the channels really benefit from the developments.
And basically, digital elements can help on that. Laila, what do you think? What are the main digital elements that really helps to make the customer journey for the clients successful?
Very simple. Know your audience. That's it. Because if you know your audience and you understand your audience, you can target the content and they will absorb it. So the key about digital signage is, what do you want to achieve? What's the purpose? No matter which industry or which vertical you're in, but especially in the retail, because we've got a couple, footprint, increased sales, brand awareness, there's a couple. But if you know your audience, you can target the content to the right person, and you will politely nudge them, I would say manipulate them, to do exactly what you want to achieve. And that's the key. And the more you know the audience, the more you will succeed in the purpose and what you want to achieve. And you could do that different ways, but the content is of the essence, from my point of view. Because you can have multiple displays or different devices, that's fine. But you need to hit the audience so that they will move to how you want it. And having the key for retail is also having access to the data. Loyalty programs and so forth is really key, so you understand them better. We've heard it earlier in some of the conversations.
So even being relevant and having the relevant content. Manuel, what does umdasch do in that direction to really face this?
So I'd like to extend this. So knowing the audience is the best thing, but you should also know at which stadium the customer is actually. So is it pre the visit, is it during the visit, or is it after the visit? And at each stadium there's a different content and there's a different touch point.
Mm-hmm. Leonardo, you're also driving a lot of concepts and stores within this environment. Do you have the same experience or the same feelings what we're talking about?
Yes. For sure, I agree with Laila that the data now is very important, because the brand want to know the audience. What I see very different from the past, that now with the data, the digital signage become more and more important. Because I have an example of a customer, big customer of 10 years ago, that the big boss wanted to invest on analytics. And they said the cameras, people counting and so on. And this clever guy said to me, how? But why I need to invest? Because I don't have the possibility to do actions. At the end, if I have a good dashboard with all the data, people, audience, so on, at the end, what I can do in the store? All the action that I can do is too late. Now, with what we said before, the numbers of digital touch point increase a lot, and the digital signage allow to the brand to do actions, immediate action. This is the difference. For this reason, now the data is the centric point for all the retailers. Like in the web, they want to know the audience and everything happened because they have the possibility to do actions. One of the most important things and fastest things to do action is the digital signage, in my opinion. And this is the centric, we are in the center of the strategy of the store.
Can I elaborate? Because
Yeah,
it's so important. It's also called return of investment.
Exactly.
So does your customer know that I'm actually putting the investment in and I get the return that I need? And that's also why we need to understand the data coming in. You can do lots of data. When you do a retail journey, in a retail store customer journey, we put sometimes glasses on to do eye tracking, and we can see exactly where the customer moves and where they look. And then we do exit interviews and saying, do you deliberately look at this place, or did something drag you towards this place to look at it? And then we know exactly where we need to place the different aspects and the content. And then I know, based on A/B testing, exit interviews, well, we had the right content at the right time, and we got the audience to move this way we wanted to. So the sales went up, or the footfall increased. And then I had my return of investment, and my customer is happy because they see the numbers based on the right digital signage.
But basically, I'm 100% aware of the concepts and of the ideas to that. But at the end, do the brands really understand it? And are they willing to get their budget for this, even if they don't know if there is the return on investment?
You just add sensors. You just add a little bit extra. If you have everything as a service, it's included in the pricing. And then there is no argument of a budget or anything else. It's a service that you add into it. Or it's something that you can add into your software, for example. So there's different ways of doing this without actually adding too much on the budget side. But getting a happy customer because the return on investment is there.
Yeah, Tilman.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to test also concepts. It's not about like one-off and like do this and that forever. You can prototype. You can just like do it once and find out if does it work, does it not work. That's the good thing about like digitalization, right?
But you also have two different types of shoppers. You need to know the audience. We go back to that. You have the time rich and you have the time poor. The time poor is me. Classic. Walk in, I scan the room, I want to buy this and this, and then I want to get out. So I need to get that type of information on the screens for me. And then there is the one that has loads of time. They want to be engaged. They want to be experienced. Because right now, we need to go back. We wanted to go back into the stores. I want to be entertained when I go back. I want to be experienced.
Yeah, but I think that's also like a division between like a convenience shopper and like a more premium luxury shopper. The convenience shopper would always go for like fast and quick and get me what I want to. I need a bread. I need something.
It's the same in the supermarket.
Yeah. But even
because you have different content, supermarket, retail stores.
Yeah,
same thing.
I got a point for that. That was even the convenient point within a Louis Vuitton store. Even if you bought something in a Louis Vuitton store in the past, it was, wow, you bought it, I bring it back, we put it into a bag, we put it into...
it's an investment.
We put it in there and it takes 10 minutes after you get it and then you get out. Now what a lot of people learned, that even within this kind of store, this convenience has to be much quicker. So even what's coming up there's going to be a quicker conversion to this, and even sorting out, and that's what you're saying before, sorting out which kind of shopper it is, that makes the real difference right now, because even it could boring you waiting 10 minutes for your bag or for your what else you bought there, or even you want to celebrate it because you really spend a lot of money there, and you then want to have a glass of wine or a glass of sparkling wine or else. So even to convert this between the others, I think that's a main issue.
Louis Vuitton is a classic example. They start queuing outside without having anyone in the store.
Yeah.
So it's whole part of their branding, right? You see you see different type of people waiting outside, different characters. And they do it deliberate because they want to create excitement about that brand. I think it's brilliant. Because when you then come in, it's an experience. You experience something different because you've waited a very long time to get in.
Yeah,
and then you get what you say.
Yeah, basically, there's then you have the one-to-one communication. That's mainly a point. Even I've been in a store in Paris. I think it's done by your company, Leonardo, on the Champs-Élysées. The Montclair store. There's also a personal shopper thing. Even if you're coming in there, It's you have to wait until there's somebody, and then they guide you through the store. And what I really liked on this store was there were so many things behind the curtain that only the shopper was able to show you, and even there were a lot of digital elements in there, even that makes it really to a
Immersive.
story.
Yeah.
It's immersive.
They try to move on immersive. Now we did also another store in China, in Shanghai, and they try to also do ceiling, escalator, elevator. When people enter, they want that the people enter also in the pattern of the seasonality. This is also another very, very strong things for the luxury brand, because you know that this, you know better than us that these big brands live with patterns, because every season has the flowers, and then if you have another one, you need to buy another bag because it's old, no? And they want to change the store according to the pattern. And when you enter and you see the flowers, all the store with the flowers, you say, my bag is old because now is another season. I need to have the new one. This is what they are doing. It's not specific on like supermarket or fashion store with the pullover on the specific product, but they try to immerse you in the pattern of the seasonality. This is the strategy.
And again, it's experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to create this engagement and experience so that the audience will obtain whatever content comes out, and that will nudge them.
And connect you into the brand.
Yeah.
But in the brand, in that seasonality, this means that you need to go in the store minimum 4 per year.
Yeah, but there's also, if you take it another notch up, there are different levels in the store, different zones in the stores. So one will be experience, which is what you see. Another one will be sales increasement, or another one get 2 for 1. Even though it's a fashion brand, high end, very expensive, there is still a deal. You can get this, I don't know, I'm not that into bags, but you can get another strap for something else. So that you have your experience, you have your sales increasement, and then you have the footfall coming into the store. So we start already outside. And that's the different zones that you will have. Even if it's the retail or if it is just a supermarket, you have the zones. You need to understand what do I want to achieve in each of the zones, and what content will give me that. Yeah, that's the essence, actually.
And the content is the most important things.
Yeah, I agree.
Even
And wait, because the hardware can also do something, right? Sorry, I'm still taking apologize. But when you have the LED, you become immersive. Yeah. But you can also have immersive with immersive content. Take the AI, for example. Yeah. We're starting to do some of the AI, like you have the images on the screen inside. We do that now. You can do that for customers as well, so that it looks different.
Even AI is able to target the group more exactly. Even that's what we discussed internally as well. Because now, based on AI, you're able to generate. Not new content, but related content. Even the jacket is now wearing a guy who has no hair and have a beard. So I think, that's cool for me. Even 2 minutes later, there's somebody wearing the jacket has your hairdressing. And even that's small things that coming up in the future. But AI is really a big point to that. But talking about immersive experience and all that, which senses do you think have to be touched when you're entering a store with immersive experiences?
Is there any that can't be touched? Is there any that doesn't play a role? I don't see any. Really, we just talked about sound before. We do a lot of scents, all the tiny details that really make you feel comfortable or not uncomfortable that play a role.
And music is of the essence. Yeah. You hit a spot right there. Because if you look at the statistics for music, if you have the right music, not the noisy, not the one that's really irritating, but if you have the right music, it can nudge you. Not just the content, but then it moves you into a certain, you can be happy. You can turn into, if it's rain, you can be relaxed and calm and you're in a good decision making. So music can make you stay 11 minutes more in the store, which we want because then they buy more. So music can have a great key.
And even
in this part,
even the sense of smelling and music is much quicker than seeing something, because if we humans are seeing something, we have to put it in relation and then understand what we're seeing. If we just smelling something, it's directly And even if we
And of course, also tasting. There's a lot of like hospitality concepts that also serve food in flagship stores, as we did with Mr. Specs in Cologne. Like there's so many examples that integrate even like star chefs into their flagship stores.
But do you remember, I can't say, do you remember your first boyfriend's perfume? I can't tell you that, but do you remember the first smell of perfume? It will always remind you of that. So sense gives you memories and happy places. So sense and music can get you into that spot where we nudge them or we manipulate them into taking a decision or something.
Leonardo, you're doing also a lot of music concepts. What is your main focus on when you doing the concept based on music and also video? Are you combining this, or is it just having a kind of a mood that you're trying to achieve?
The combination between audio, video, and store is coming more common now. In the past, was completely different programs, but now in some store, mainly in the flagship store, they want to create a kind of domination. This means that sometimes, or for an event, or for the launch of a product, they want to have the same content with the specific song. This means that we need to synchronize sometimes all the screens and the music connected for specific, not every day, because also the people that is working inside is not possible for them, but there is, when they want to move a strong message, the domination effect is very, very appreciated. When you connect screens, LED, touch screens and music connected. For sure, the perfume for the luxury brand is mandatory. Yeah. For sure, because you enter inside the smell, but also because they have the perfume inside, and this, I agree with you, is the first sense that people cannot do nothing, because, but the second one is also the music, because the music you cannot hear, because you cannot enter like that. You cannot see a screen and watch another way, but the music is for sure the basic of this kind of stores, even if they now invest a lot of money for the hardware, because it's another theme that is very important. That in the past, the hardware part of a fashion luxury store was in the hand of the electrician. Okay, put a couple of things.
They're using the same
now is a
for
business,
music, then for getting them out of the store.
Become a reality also for us, that in the past we didn't want to do that because it was peanuts, but in this moment they ask a specific project with high-level brands of amplifier and so on, because the music for sure is 100% important.
But it's part of the strategy. Instead of just doing things randomly or ad hoc, now it's a strategy. There's a meaning behind it. There is a return on investment that we need to achieve.
It's very important what you said before, the connection, and to have the same provider for the music and the video, because if you have two different providers, that there is a lot of cases.
They have to be synchronized at the end.
It's not working because it's two media, cannot become one media.
And music is not music.
Music
is not music. Choose the right playlist. You have to choose the right music at the right time for the audience.
And I think that become more and more important with the increase of the retail media, mainly on supermarket also, that they will sell more and more advertising space, that the audio connected with the video will become more important. Then now is not a reality, because in the supermarket the music is low and so on, but for sure they will do also.
I mean, sound is a general topic of immersion. It's not only about music, it's about any kind of like, how do I integrate into like the whole environment, and how do I feel comfortable with it? It doesn't necessarily even mean to be music. It can be a whole soundscape that's connected to the artwork or to the visuals.
Or the experience.
The experience.
Manuel, let's come back to you. I know that probably your company is doing a lot of flagship stores at the end. What are the main concepts, and what are the main outlook concept you installed in the last month?
So if you look at all those labels like Gucci or Armani and so, all of those labels or all of those stores has one thing together. Each one is different. So if you go into all of those stores, the shop fitting, the digital elements all are different, and also the smelling, and that's one of the main things. There's not one concept which you can give over all their stores. So there's a different city, there's a different concept, and that means that's the same for the content, and that's also the same, or that's really important for us when we create content. So we have So when we have products, then we can change the background, and that's where AI can help us in the future and also now, because when we design a store, we can also design the background of the digital elements, and then we can change it easily via templates or stuff like that.
But you're so right about the cities. Because what works in one city doesn't work in another city, in the city or in the outskirts, but also the audience. Some audience are quirky, some audience are not quirky. So you need to know what city are we in, what type of people comes in my store, when do they come in? That's the key.
We had this with IKEA this morning, so even the concept.
Yeah, there we go.
I know it's your project, but even that's a big difference. Really the customer journey for them. Even you not have your car outside to put in the big thing you just bought. You have to take care of getting it to your home. But even coming back to community building, that's something I really like. I've seen a lot of really cool stores that's doing this. And one of my famous is just the Link & Co store. I think I've seen 5 or 6. Even it's so massive retail design, and you've got open working place in there, but it's really hard to find the car in there. So even the product is not the main issue. It's something else. What do you think about concept like this? We start at that point, Leonardo.
For sure, this is part of the strategy of this brand. The digital can help for sure to share different information, not specific on that product, because if you want to share a lifestyle model around and then focus your attention on the car, the music, the screen, the bar can help you to create this kind of atmosphere. But in general, I think that is specific to launch product that is not very well known or something like that, because the fashion luxury brand, the fashion luxury brand and the straight strategy, very concrete, and they want to move on the goal and the clear message, that the campaign of that seasonality. I repeat what I said before. It's very important that for them, our job, our company is now become partner of this company, because when they want to deliver a message, a strategy, we are able to deliver immediately in all the store this message in a strong way, because now the screens are not little screen alone, standalone, but it's big screen, big walls, immersive space, windows. The Windows is the most important strategy around this kind of brand. They want to deliver a message worldwide level in the same moment.
Yeah.
I think the community building also, like it is like a inevitable part of any kind of lifestyle brand. Every brand needs to be built around a community, be it a sportswear brand like Lululemon or Adidas. They rely on completely different communities and completely different community actions, and they cater so much to those communities in the in-store experience, but of course also connected to the outer world experience.
Yeah, 100% right.
Can you also link it to the influencers, right? You want to be part of something, your community. You want to be part of something else. I know, I'll probably take you next.
They have a special room in every store, and this probably is the most Instagrammable picture you can send out. Everybody loves it because it's so huge.
And that's Generation Z. I know I keep thinking about Generation X. I'm not going to point too far. And then the Generation Z. Generation Z comes to us and says, for example, I want to build my content as I build my social media posts. So us, Generation X, I won't point too far, sorry. We do the landscape, right? Oh, let's do that. But they want to do a portrait because they want to do the stories. They want to do the Instagram. They want to do the Facebook. So suddenly we need to change our mindset about how do we publish these contents and how does the influencer comes out? How do we do that being part of the community? And also one thing is, this refreshing content all the time speaks to me and not to the masses, to everybody else. And that's where it comes in with the community as well.
It's not a one-to-one. It's a one-to-one.
Yeah. I feel they speak to me and not to everybody else. I am important.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to be.
And you're part of the brand. That's a point.
Definitely, yeah.
We're coming up to the end. Are there any questions in the audience to these points? Just feel free. Or just...
Yeah, we got one. We got one. Excellent. Very brave.
Go ahead, Robin.
You talk so much about music. Appreciate this. Becomes a big topic. So thanks for that. And maybe just to add my 10%. I really believed, especially in the luxury fashion lifestyle section, brand is not longer about the product. It's really about the experience. Oh. So it's not about getting the bag with the flowers. It's not about the bag with the flowers, but getting the
exactly.
And also the Jensen. So it's really like, I've been there, I was waiting in the row, I made this experience. Of course, I recorded everything and I have content to talk about it. Like that's minimum same important than having the final product. And then when it comes back to music questions, of course, it's great that people stay longer. That's like, let's say, the basics. We, for example, have an internal KPI we call the Shazam KPI, like how many people put their phone out and trying to figure out what kind of cool songs.
I'm one of them.
That means like music is not just for feeling you good. It's like really also inspiring you. So like, oh, I discovered a great song at the whatever store. And I think definitely the whole storytelling, the whole experience around is super important. And I agree totally. It's very individual, very localized. Every brand, but even every inside a brand, every city or store is very unique and very different. So I'm really happy to.
But
we also had a discussion before. What role does the employee play in the whole customer journey? And a happy employee, how helpful is a happy employee to sell more products? And how much role can also the audio play to make the employee happy, or other environmental, experiential subjects in the store?
It can be part of the content, it can be part of the brand. Has anybody heard of Joe and the Juice? I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm Danish and Nordic. They need to be, there's a certain personality in who they hire, there's music all the time, that's what they want. Yep. That's how, and I would Shazam that. But if I'm in another store or Louis Vuitton, I wouldn't Shazam that music because I know it's a different music. So the music fits to the purpose of the store or the restaurant or wherever that is. Yeah. So you're right on that. Yeah.
We had a second point.
Everybody of you told us about creating an experience based on data. What kind of data you can image as a KPI to communicate to the new generation and to understand if our communication is working or not?
So which data, what are you thinking of? Anything specific?
No, I don't know. I don't have idea.
Okay, so you can excellent. I
think basically that really, and that's what we're talking about, that depends on the target group we're looking for. And even first of all, the main issue is to find out which target group is generating this kind of data, and then learn what the target group is doing with this kind of data.
Let me give you an example.
And at which time?
Yeah, because it's much easier. Let's say you've got a lot of youngsters coming in. Let's say
theoretical thing.
Yeah. So age 30, for example, they come in, you just do exit interviews with them afterwards, or you track them or you censor them throughout the store they come in, and then you look at your sales numbers. Has the sales number comes up? What time of day of the sales number comes up? And what audience or which type of people are coming in? So the easiest data to get is the sales data, because then you can see, does it have an effect straight away? You knew your sales data yesterday, you know your sales data today. So I think that's the quickest data you could look at. Sorry, just to put it in perspective of today. Yeah. Instead of theory, I like practice.
And also combine this data with the weather conditions outside, because when it's hot outside, maybe the guys or the people won't go into the store. So the outside temperatures or stuff like that is interesting.
Yeah, always the seasoning. What type of year? What day is it? Holidays? Not holiday? You know.
Have you done an advertising before?
Yeah.
And
That's why you
stuff like
always
that.
do the data the same period, same year, to make sure that it's not
And
that it's clean data.
and even having all the influences based on this data you're just generating, because we have it in Germany right now that a big grocery store is now stopping their paper advertisement. And a lot of people are really happy about this, but also there are a lot of people are thinking that worked before, but probably didn't work the last 20 years. We will see what's coming out of that. And even that's also factors that could really influence these points. So thank you for you all. It was a great fun having you
We could
here.
keep going.
And
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's fun.
Thank you.
It's nice.